Death be not proud.
Alright, you ignorant pigs, put down your crack pipes and your beer bongs. It's time for the Holy Diver Show Summer Special. And to my Japanese viewers, Kyo wa Holy Diver Show desu. Oh, hisashiburi desu. Genki kai minamuchi Buddha. Ima jikan Holy Diver Show desu. On today's show, we are going to have a little intro, what I've been working on, Orcs and Chaos Kickboxing, 40K Crusade in the Armor of Contempt, helping out a friend, and Ork Tactics. And at the end of this, we'll have a little showcase for you. So it's been a hot minute. I've been working my butt off at work, and BS going on with my dad's health and everything. It's kept me away. I've also been kickboxing, and I've actually suffered my first sports injury, which kind of has slowed me down just a little bit. I haven't been able to train aggressively as I'd like, so I've employed a mandatory painting doctrine over the summer of at least 1.5 to 2.5 hours a night. I've averaged that out. I think I'm painting at least, not to mention at least 6 hours of painting on Saturday. And this is hobby time. I think I've averaged about 14 hours of painting per week. And I've gotten a lot of things done, as you know, I've been painting orcs up. I haven't really been doing anything historical, but this is kind of like the culmination of my summer project. I think I've worked on this really heavily at the end of July and all of August. So if you do put in the work, you can get something done pretty quickly. And I think a month, maybe a month and a half, maybe 2, stretching it 14 hours a night on this, 14 hours a week on this project, really a good thing. So to get all this work done, I've had to manage my time, to say the least. I've had to eliminate all procrastinating activities. I've had to make sure the house stays somewhat clean. And, so right when I leave the gym, there's like a 20-minute cooling period where I do absolutely nothing, and then I'm down here and I'm putting in the work at the painting table. So no procrastinating activities, definitely no TV, no binge watching Netflix and overeating. And then, I've kind of split up my Saturday in stages. In the morning I get up, I'll work for about 3 hours at the painting table. Then I'll go about my day. At about 6 o'clock I pick up the groceries, and from there, I'll put everything away. I'll either eat dinner or, let's see, there's one more thing that I'll do. I'll either eat dinner or I'll make dinner. So I'll leave the house again, because I don't usually leave the house. And somewhere along the way before that, I also work out again on Saturdays. But I'm doing my food prep Saturday night because we have Crusade games on Sunday. And this is the second Crusade that we've been embroiled in. So we've been doing a full year of Crusade games over at my other group, But, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. I look at a photo like that, and I tell myself, I'm rich. I couldn't ask for a better group of guys to play games with. So, let's see. Let's turn the page here. Let's just get right into the 40K Crusade. I'm going to talk briefly about playing my Chaos and everything, and taking them on their first outing. It has not been good. I thought I would just easy, slow walk my way to victory across the field. No, that was not the case. My first outing was against the AdMech, and my friend actually went out of his way and he bought a painted army. That was actually pretty cool. I wish I had done a battle report on that or taken some pictures of the army, because it was different because I'm so used to things dying the moment they get shot, and I'm not used to hitting on too. So it's like, oh, I'm participating in the game now as a non-orc player. Although I did lose that game. This thing actually, it leveled up, so I will take that. And then my Helldrake spent the entire game trying to kill his flyer. And it was like plucking one wound off a turn, and then his flyer was flying away from me, dumping bombs on me the entire time. I couldn't stop it. I think at the end of the game, I did get it to pick up that kill, that priority target, and I think that's so it got 1 plus the 2 for priority target on my Eldrake here. And that was actually fun, you know, and taking the Obliterators out, because my very first army that I ever had was a Chaos army. It was Word Bearers in 4th edition, and I remember there was a guy there who was he was an acquaintance, but when I was buying my army and everything, he wouldn't let me, he's like, here, buy 9 of these guys. He had me buy 9 Obliterators. If you're going to spend $300 on stuff, I'm just going to tell you what's really good for the book right now in the Chaos Manual, and it's these guys. And he pointed to the Obliterators, and of course these guys had like, they were like bigger Terminators back then, and one of them had a gun arm, and there was like 4 or 5 different guns at the end of the arm, and the other one had like saws, and there was like 4 or 5 different saws at the end of the arm. And so it's like, you know, and then he kind of taught me how to play. He says, so this turn, what you're going to do is you're going to walk forward, you're going to shoot Land Raiders, shoot at all their vehicles. And that was kind of my first intro into 40K 4th edition. So the next game I played against a Traitor Legion, I done got cratered. It was not fair at all. Like, I didn't bring the right things. I thought I brought 10 Terminators and souped them all up with all the Dark Apostle, the Master of Possessions, and the artifact that they're supposed to carry. What is that artifact on the Terminators? They're like 18 power now. What are these idiots carrying? Oh yeah, we got the Black Rune of Damnation. No, the Legion Fellblade came around the corner, did a drive-by on all my Terminators and killed them down to one guy. And then guess what? The last guy ran away.
Suck it, jabroni!
So I was not happy about that. I was already cut down. I looked 20 power, gone. Not even there in my army. Oh, and he also had enough firepower with the Fellblade to bleep up my Land Raider, which was not fair. But, you know, I do like seeing these things on the table. There's something about a Land Raider that just sits, you know, has the essence of 40K on it, you know, and I had to put a Land Raider in now. So, you know, I mean, there's that. And then the next game, it was a smaller game, and, you know, I didn't really pay attention. I just sort of deployed, and then all my characters got sniped, and that was game. That just assassinate. You know, he had a unit of snipers. Oh, mortal wound Necrons, nothing you can do about it. So I just said, okay, well, there's nothing I can do to hide my last character from you. I'm just going to quit now and take 1 point for each one of my units, and that's where I'm at. I played 3 games with this army, and I've only had 1 good outing, and that was against Admech. So going over to Ork Tactics. So this is a switch. I actually had this desk forever. I finally put it together Monday morning on Labor Day weekend, and I just set it right here. It's actually supposed to be up against the wall, and it's for me. Basically, this and this are here. They have a purpose. It used to be that TV tray too, that you would wheel one of these TV trays to bring your army closer to the table. But I'm going to start hosting games because my friend's house has some kind of an evil null field that makes it so I only roll like shit, but he rolls like liquid fire and lightning every single time. It's like, oh, I shot you with a rocket. Oh, look, I made a 2+ save because of Armor of Contempt. And that's kind of going to be the meat of this portion of the show. I come over here and I got all this crazy crap on the walls like Anita Sarkeesian, buying a bunch of video games from the bargain bin, going, doesn't it look like I know what the fuck I'm talking about? Yes? Question mark? No? All right. So the Nephilim update came out several weeks ago. I know I'm late to the party. I don't care. You know, you can't mix tribes of orcs anymore. That's big, and that sucks balls. And the worst thing that ever happened was Armor of Contempt. Now, I played a game where I brought a pressure list, you know, a very serious pressure list. No, I have nowhere near anything resembling a pressure list. I've checked online to see what the tournament orc players are doing, and most of them are running 3 kill rigs. I don't even have a kill rig, so I got no pressure whatsoever in my armies. I've noticed. All I can do is make the best of what I have. All right, so Armor of Contempt comes out. I have this big old scrap in the middle. I get some boys in on a charge, and as you can see by the picture there, I did 5 wounds. The only ones who did any damage were the war boss, and I can't remember what else was in that fight, but there was one more thing in that fight that dealt out some damage. Oh no, the Death Copters came back and they shot the crap out of the unit, then I assaulted. So that's what happened there. I did 5 wounds, and I think I had a squad and a half plus. Yeah, I had a squad and a half plus a full squad, plus the war boss. They went in there in a scrap during the WA phase. Not gonna lie, like the new rules for the WA, 5+ ward save across the board for all the orcs, +1 strength, +1 attack for everything in the army. Really good there if you're Goths. But you already get +1 strength when you charge. So when you're charging with a boy, he's strength 6, and he's wounded on 3s most of the time. And if you're charging with the Squig Hog boys, you're strength 8. Squig Hog boys, I tried to get them in, and they just I had to avoid certain elements of his army that came up turn 1 and just crippled my ass. So, you know, where the orcs falling short, I think they have 0 capacity to save anything, because I just got one-shotted off the board battle wagon from the Lord of Skulls, just dead. And then there was enough firepower over to cripple my Gorkanaut, and that pissed me off too, because there's like one thing in his army that shoots, and it shoots better than anything I've got. It also tanks hits better than anything that I've got. So, and it's all because of Armor of Contempt. So I've really had to go through my book and everything and all my BS here. It's nice having a desk though, and just see what I have that I can. That I can bring, you know, because you can't mix tribes of orcs anymore, so I have to. So I went through and I eBay rescued this custom boost of Blasta, this Ork-KILLABLE War Trike, and this Megatrack Scrap Jet. I'm gonna get 2 more Scrap Jets and another 6 Coptas. The Coptas have come back into the list, and fighting Tyranids has also been an uphill slog, because, you know, they just, you know what, I have no trouble with it, because at least they forced the hand of Games Workshop. The Tyranid book was so good that they had to give something to Space Marine players to keep them from losing. Well, Ultramarines, they still have to be up in top tables. You can't lose with the Marine Army, so we have to give Armor of Contempt, where you'll do a measly 5 wounds to a bunch of Terminators when you charge them. And it freaking hurts, you know, because it's just like Choppas used to be really good. It's like if orcs get you in close combat, we've got you. That's not the case anymore. Look, I made all my 2+ saves. There's nothing you can do. Good job, Terminators. I win. Then, of course, they pile in. They fight twice, and that really hurts, especially if they're Red Butchers. So, you know, I've resorted to taking in my list, as you can see in the picture there. Yes, I'm bringing the Gorkanaut, but I'm bringing that to basically draw fire, or I'm going to teleport it in. A lot of times I'll use it to draw fire. I'll put it behind a building where it's not ruins or something, or I'll put it on the other side of a forest, because you can't see past a forest block line of sight. And I'll try to run up with it next turn or something, and then you're going to shoot it next turn, and I'm going to get you the other way. So things that have come back into my list have been the Death Copters. Certain elements have gone out, and the Death Copters have definitely come in. Give them the Boom Boys upgrade, and I think with that they do pretty good. They come out 9 inches away from an opponent, and the last game I played, he said, well, you have no command points if you start with 2 tribes of orcs, but we weren't playing that because it's a Crusade, and I've already had these guys in the Crusade army, the speed boss and everything. So Being able to take these guys off of the table after you blow a hole in something, which they did. They single-handedly killed some of the Terminators, and they killed the Lord of Skulls by themselves. And just being able to leave and bleep off somewhere else, pretty freaking strong there. And that got me thinking about Speed Wah, because now that I can't mix Tribes of Orcs, I have to figure out what works and what doesn't work in this Crusade. So what do I got that's A tier? What do I got that's B tier? So definitely one of the things that I got that's A tier, I got 18 Mega Knobs. I gotta figure a new spot for my Mega Boss in this army, and I might just bite the bullet and run 2 Bonebreaker Wagons again, because they're only 10 power and they can transport things. 2 units of Mega Knobs, both as truck boys in each combat patrol, pretty strong. Not gonna lie there, because I can't have a. I mean, I can run the bikes, but I would much rather run the 2 units of Squig Hog boys, because let's face it, they're wrecking machines with the -2 damage sticka once they get into close combat. Not to mention the Squig Hog jaws. You get one through, you kill another Marine. I really like that. But things that I used to run, I would have maybe. Let's see, 1, 2, yeah. So this is 12 power. This is 12 power. I took out 12 Mega Knobs and plugged these guys in my last game, and they worked out really good. So good that I want 2 units of them. I want 2 units of them, because I'm going to kind of split the armies, like what's going to be Goth and what's going to be all Speed Freaks. Now, I have a lot of bikers left over from my prior army. I have another biker boss, and now I have a Deathkiller War Trike, and he has a pretty good synergy where, let's say I get him in range of these guys. All right, I come out of Deep Strike, he's sitting right there, and then when I shoot and I'm Boom Boys, if I fail the wound, I can re-roll the wound next to him if he's got the. Let's see, it's the speed. It's his aura ability, actually. It's the Warlord trait out of the Critical Mass book. The only problem with Speed Mob is you can only take Speed Freaks, Wagons, and Aircraft. I think trucks have the wagon special word. Yeah, it's the Speed King thing. You can reroll wound roll of 1. So if you roll any 1s while trying to wound, you just reroll it, and that actually works. You've also got the Crashing Through, which actually helps you deal a lot of mortal wounds for 1 CP. And the Attack Out of the Sun is what allows you to take this 1 unit off of the table, which is pretty strong. The other one is Drive-By DACA. What is it? Decisions. So you go over here to the tribes, and I've been poring over the book ever since Armor of Contempt came out, because it's been so freaking detrimental. The biggest problem I have is that a lot of orc shooting is AP -2. It's AP -2, which when you go down to a -1 and they just save it on a 3+ anyway, I mean, because they're Terminators or something, if you don't make it through and you don't put a rocket up their ass or something, it really hurts. It's relegated half of the guns in the Orc Codex to a sexually non-threatening status. Yeah, and let's see here. It is Drive-By DACA for 1 CP. So with the other unit of Coptas, when I build and paint them, and I will build and paint them, they're showing up this week. I'm just going to I'm going to fly away with the other unit when these guys come in. So I'll be spending some CP, because we're not, seeing as how we're playing Crusade, we're not going to be starving for points. So I don't know how I'm going to. I know how I'm going to go with my Speed Mob, but I don't know how I'm going to go with my Goth Mob. Things are going to be coming back in with my Goth Mob. Definitely going to start bringing the Killicans again, because they're generically good. I think I can deep strike them for 2 CP. I can deep strike them, and I can drop them out onto my opponent, use my 3 flamethrowers and my 3 rocket launchers that hit on 4s, and maybe weaken something, maybe knock something down after these guys come in and blow a hole in their rectum. So these guys set them up, the cans knock them down, and that'll be one choice. And then in the other CP, and then in one of the other Speed Freaks fast attack slots, I'll have a unit of Squidhog Boys. And that's how that'll work. And I'll have the Bonebreaker Wagons, and I'll have to bring Gazcool again. So because I took him out of my list to bring these and the Speedwa Combat Patrol in my last game. And I also ditched these 12 Mega Knobs. So because I was running the list with like, yeah, I had 12 Mega Knobs in the last list. So one unit of Truck Boys with the kill saws, and they actually leveled up pretty quick. They've gotten some kills. And then another thing that I was thinking, you know, like what if I pressure my opponent by bringing the Death Dreads, you know, just putting a Dread Mob behind enemy lines and teleport instead of bringing the Gorkanaut because it's just infinitely cheaper, and then spilling out onto one enemy and just destroying it completely with close combat attacks from the Dread Mob. And then the cool thing about Storm Boys is that they're already a Goth unit, and Zadstruck here, or I think it's Zadstruck. He's already coming in. Let's see here. What has he got? I think he's got the Goth special rule or something like that. Boss Zadstruck, yep. Orcs character, Goth. Keyword. So he's already got the Exploding Sixes. He's got the Vulture's Claws. He's got the Choppa. He makes an additional attack. So we've got 6 attacks with the Vulture's Claws, which are AP -3. And that's been the quest that I've been on. For a while now, is to find an AP, if it's not AP -3, it's not worth bringing. So bringing him out and bringing a couple of squad, because now I even finished my other squadron of, what do you call it, Storm Boys. Storm Boys are just slightly better boys, but they're faster. And I need to be able to deliver myself to close combat, or else I'm not going to win in a Goth list. So, there's that element to it, you know. You're always constantly thinking, whereas I was going to originally kind of backsplash this game against Hail Caesar, because I recently played a game of Hail Caesar, and I'm not going to lie, I think Hail Caesar works out a lot better for if you just want to plug and play a game, you know, and there's not as much bloat, and there's a lot of bloat in 40K because they release a tournament pack of rules, and they change everything, and then everything shifts, and everything that you had wasn't good. And so the best thing I can tell you is that you want to collect one army and have that be your primary army. That's the army that you're going to have all the toys for. So the next thing that I've got upstairs that I'm building and working on that I think are going to be really good for me are the Wazbomb Blast-A-Jets. And it's just that they come with for 10 power, they come with so much firepower. Or for 230 points, they come with all this firepower that it's just, it helps. And especially if during Speedwall, I can get the teleport blasters up to AP -3 with a ballistic skill of 4+. You know, and there's 2 teleport blasters, and they fire D6 shots apiece. So that's actually really good, you know. And then they have the grenade launcher. For whatever reason, they have a smash-a-gun. Really, they put all the cool, like, why can't a battle wagon have a smash-a-gun? Now, I've been disappointed in the battle wagon ever since it came out at the end of 5th edition, where all it does is lumber around, and they've always made you buy every single freaking gun for that platform, and it's just been complete and total bullshit. The battle wagon for 130 points should already come with the kill cannon, the sexually non-threatening kill cannon. You know, the kill cannon that gets D6 shots, not D6 +2 shots like everybody else is getting. Just D6 shots that hit on 5s that most of the time, because there's somebody's obscured, you're going to be hitting on 6s, which nullifies the gun. And that's a huge problem. And I just think that, you know, I figure like ways to help out casual orc players and help and just like really, like, you want to play orcs casually, well, they need to do some things, like, and I will take one of 3 things. One of 3 things would be nice. If the big mech could go into any vehicle and fire its weapons at the big mech ballistic skill of 4+, that would be something, because all of a sudden you're hitting with the 30 shots from this a little bit more. All the weapons in there actually do something at long range, and this is where orcs have always fallen short. They fail to do anything when it comes to medium range shooting, and they have specific things that do well, but they're points intensive. Okay, I got tank, case in point, tank busters. Yeah, you want to take those guys in a lot of lists. You can make them boom boys, so they're -3, which is good, and they're going to hit a vehicle on a 4+, but they don't hit monsters on a 4+ anymore, which really hurts them. You know, so if the mech could fire the guns of any vehicle he's in, that would be good. If they bring back the, and this is part of the mech, they need to bring back the big mech 5+ save, because why in the hell does the Waz bomb, if you buy the force field for it, but because I'm playing power, I'll have the force field, have the 5+ KFF? Why doesn't the big mech have a 5+ KFF? And, you know, then you go and you look at a shitty stratagem that they give you for the KFF. There's the force field booster. It's once per battle. Not once per battle per force field. It just says once per battle you can give your guys a 5+ KFF. Now, in theory, when I was originally theming like a Bad Moons list with cans and mechs and meganobs and grots and everything, and death coptas, because you know these things are like gold now. You know, I mean they're not the end all be all, but in the speed mob they're really 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 powerful. You know, they just give you a 5+ save. So, you know, the lack of an invulnerable save, you know, really sucks there. So if they gave you that invulnerable save back, you could actually deliver yourself a little bit more. So if it was once per force field per battle, so I do it one force field, I do it on the other force field, then I declare the law, and the army has a 5+ ward save for 4 turns. That's actually really powerful. That would help out a lot. So, you know, what's the other thing that needs to just happen? The orc vehicles, they need to have better saves. If all of the orc gargantuans tomorrow got a 4+ ward, you'd be in. You'd be in, because, you know, I can't tell you how many times I'd be playing a game against Tau or something, and they crump my sorry ass because they make all their 4+ ward saves. They pull out of close combat. Well, in close combat, they get the suits get to shoot you, and then they destroy all your orc bikers, and they eventually destroy your orc war boss on a bike. Yeah, that's happened a lot. Or you shoot the storm surge, and it makes all of its 4+ ward saves. That hurts too. So it's like, oh, look at this. I did like 19 frickin' hits to you. You made some armor saves, and then the ones that they got through, that's fine. And then, look, oh, there's some strength 9 -4. Take your 4+ ward save. Oh, look, I made 3 of them. All right, so now I'm a little bit more survivable. That's number 2. They need to make it a little bit more survivable on the Gargants. And I'll take the KFF and the mech shooting the guns of the vehicle, or they need to make grot gunners a thing. That's just an upgrade that you can buy for your battle wagons, so that when you shoot the kill cannon, it actually hits something on a 5+, and it does wounds, and the kill cannon actually shoots more than D6 shots. How about you just shoot D6 6 shots with the kill cannon? It's, you know, the battle wagon, it costs 130 points. I think they did drop the points on it, which helps, but not coming with any of the weapons standard is just, it's BS, and that's the third thing that they need to turn around on the battle wagon, is that they need to come with weaponry. You know, so I'm kind of at the end of my 40K rant there, you know. And last but not least, because I thought I'd run a little bit long-winded in this Tactitia, I'm trying to help out my friend. He's looking for a specific wood elf model, and it's his favorite model. It's Naestra and Arahan, the Sisters of Twilight riding the Forest Dragon. all right? And this is his favorite model, and you know, my buddy Anthony has done so much for me. If there's anything I can do to help him, I've got to do it. So I'm just putting out my feelers out there. If anybody has the Wood Elf sisters riding the Forest Dragon, please DM me. You can link to my Instagram and get in touch with me directly that way. I'll even work with you on price. You know, if you got to sell it for a certain amount, I understand. I have to pay $155 for Orion, the rampaging avatar character. I looked and I finally found one that was complete pewter. Bought it for my friend, and he was so happy. So he says if he could just he sent me a text out of the blue, just saying if I could find this model, well, I'd throw down on some fantasy again so freaking fast. So I'm doing this for a friend. I'm putting out the feelers there, and I'm hoping that 1 out of 1,000 of you that might view this will know the whereabouts of one of those dragons. So with that, I guess we can go to the showcase, and we'll be back. All right, now I haven't filmed a showcase for a very, very long time, but I'm going to start with the 2 units that I don't have any cards for, and that's my Warpsmith and my Chaos Typhon. The Typhon, really badass. The Dreadhammer Siege Cannon just sounds sexually threatening to its core. Actually, it's a pretty good gun. It's -4 to armor, and it does 3 damage, and it's strength 10, so the Warpsmith there, he can make that thing hit on 2s. It's got 2 las guns, a heavy flamer, and it's also got a bolter on there somewhere. I picked this up secondhand, so some of the treads there, as you can see, just a couple of them are broken up front, but that's okay. You don't really notice it because of the color scheme. All of the attention is right there on my hazard wobbles, so it works out pretty good. Up next, you have to have a Land Raider. Chaos T9 Land Raider with all the trimmings, double Soul Shatter Las Cannons. That is awesome name right there. The Soul Shatter Las Cannons on the Land Raider. And then I got a unit of Chosen with them. Actually, some of those guys are just TAC Marines, but I'm just using them as Chosen because, you know, you got to have Chosen. It used to be, you know, it's like, well, I have 10 Chosen of Khorne, and they just crump your entire army. That guy's got the Black Mace, as you can see there, the Sergeant. And let's see here. Yeah, I'm running the Black Mace with the Chosen when I have ran this army. As for the Land Raider, you know, it's just really, with them being toughness 9 and having the smoke screen and got the Iron Warriors logos on there and some old Vampire Count decals, which I think really kind of tie up the model there. I opted for orange instead of yellow, just because I thought that would be funner. And the only mistake I made was putting all this stuff up on top when I built it. So those cages, those, I don't know what you call them, the chaos mutations along the end here, right here and there, they really fucked with me when I was painting it. So I couldn't get them off without like breaking up the top part of the Land Raider. So I just left it the way it was, did the best I could. It's not terrible, but you know, my friend's like, oh, look at you and your crooked lines. You know, and he's always giving me shit about it, so my autism keeps flaring up. Over here we got my lone little tactical squad with the Chaos Rhino. I really decked that Rhino out, because I know people are going to shoot it, so I wanted it to look, I wanted the front of the Rhino to look like a giant frickin' target. And, oh dude, this guy right here, he's got the minigun. That thing is so cool. That is a cool model. That's a nice touch. Let's get this guy out just a little bit there. And you got your Sergeant with the plasma pistol and power fist. But yeah, this is an even 10 power unit here. I don't have a card for them yet because I haven't used them. But you have to have a certain amount of Traitor Legion actual Marine units in order to run cultists. Over here I have my pride and joy. I have 6 obliterators, 2 units of 3. These guys, pretty badass. I opted to use Centurion models rather than the models that they came out, because the models that came out for the obliterators, though cool, suck because if I want them, I have to buy a big butt crawler to get them. You know, it's like, why can't I just buy 2 obliterators in a box? Well, that's not good enough. We need you to buy a shitty model that you're never ever going to use. Why don't you want the big butt crawler? You don't want the big butt crawler with your obliterators? So yeah, I opted to get Centurions, and these guys are a bitch to build. They painted up really quickly though. I was cranking out 3 of these a weekend when I did them originally. I think I might have done all 6 in a weekend. And I've just been painting. Over here, we're coming to our characters. I got my Chaos Lord, my Dark Apostle, and my Master of Possessions. He's the one with the blue thing in his hand. The Dark Apostle's, he's basically on fire. Kind of screwed up with the 2 character models. I used a primer that was a little bit thicker, and as a result, one of them, the Sorcerer, immensely. The Master of Possessions ended up potato-faced a little bit, so all I could do was wash him. But that's okay. Nobody's really ever going to look at him. Everyone's going to be looking at the Obliterators. They're probably the centerpiece of the army. Next up, we have a Sakharan battle tank. I opted for Sakharans because nobody else was using them at the time. And hey, I want to be different. But now that 30K is going to be a thing, I'm glad that I have them. So that I have the beginnings of my Iron Warriors army. In another video, I'm going to have to showcase my Imperial Fist army that I've got in the closet. But I'll actually preview that when I turn around. Over here, we just got 20 cultists, 20 cultists. Like I said, I did do a little bit of yellow. 1 unit was yellow, 1 unit is orange. You know, just because you need some of these guys to go grab objectives and everything. And plus, you have a pretty cool stratagem that I could just use them as cannon fodder for my Obliterators. And I think it's the Psychic, the Master of Possessions. He's actually been pretty successful at bringing the Obliterators back to life. I put the Relic Demon Smith on my Chaos Lord and run them in this kind of a micro unit. And yeah, the Demon Smith makes them hit on 2s with Ruinous Salvo. And the Obliterators put out a massive amount of shots. Over here, I did take a lot of liberties with these Terminators. I am so proud of these 10 guys. And, you know, just the basing job alone, the cork and sand on some of these guys, you know, just, oh God, this is just one of my favorite units. 10 Terminators. I can do 2, the ones with the yellow, they can be ran as a different squad because they're all wearing this, what do you call it, loincloth thing right here. Let's get the sergeant out. Yeah, they all got that loincloth thing that I painted corn red. And they all have that, so some of them have black ones. Let's see the sergeant of the other squad. His is black, because at some point I might pick up another Land Raider and run Terminators coming out of Land Raiders again. And then he's got yellow hazard wobbles. And that's how I define the other unit. As you can see, one of them, the other one's got a power fist back there. It's got the yellow hazard wobbles on it. The other one's got the yellow hazard wobbles on it. So you can pick those 5 out really quickly. But just one of the really fun units. Oh, and their weapons are black instead of maroon. Yeah, so I did do that. But I usually run them in a big unit of 10, which is pricey because it's just 18 power. And everybody's got the Iron Warriors hazard wobbles going on one shoulder pad or the other. Doesn't really matter with these guys. They're a little bit more individual. Whereas everybody, a lot of them, like, yeah, it's a mix match. It is a mix match. Some ended up with it on the left side. I wasn't really thinking when I built them. I just put the shoulder pads on. This guy's got a completely orange, this sergeant right here, because these guys right here are tactical Marines. Not chosen. Where are you? Yeah, these 5 are just regular tactical Marines, but I'm going to run them as chosen because they've got the chain swords and there's an icon right there. That's the one thing about chosen, they can take an icon, so can regular legionaries, but these guys aren't going to be doing much except holding an objective and driving around in the Rhino. And then over here, this took a lot of time. The Helldrake. I ran it a few times. It's kind of fun. It actually, I think it leveled up. No, it has 3 experience points in the Crusade so far. So, my friend dinged me when I didn't have it based. My entire army was painted. He was like, I'm not giving you the full 10. I'm like, oh, that's not based. I'm like, oh, fuck you. Bullshit. And then he gave me my crutch and I still lost the game. So I'm still kind of bitter about that. And I lost it hard. And I think that game, yeah, that was my first outing with them. He tried to pull that shit, but I wouldn't let him because I paint my shit. That's what I do. My paintbrush is 12 inches long, bro. You can't beat me. And then last but not least, we have the Sakarin Ventnar with the las cannons. That's not a bad choice, simply because, you know, you park it in back somewhere and then you just shoot things, and it's got a flat damage 6 weapon. And when this thing upgrades, I'm going to make the AP on the Ventnar better. Let's see what the card says for that. Or do I even have the card? I bet you the card's in the book because I'm not seeing it. I just see Sakharan Battle Tank. I don't see my other Venator, my Sakharan Venator. Anyway, I want to say I've got well over 100 power here, but that's my Chaos Army. Let's take a look at the fist in a preview. Here we are in my Closet of Wonders. We have not had a look in this closet for a very long time. Just all the different shit that I have in here. But I'm just... Oh, hold on. I've been painting up a shit ton of orcs, as you can see. Alright, there you go. These are the fists. I bought this army off of eBay because my standards are not ridiculous. And it's got a lot of goodies in there. I've got 30 Terminators to start. I got my Praetor right there. I got whatever this thing is. I don't care. It's got a big gun and it looks scary. And I got these veterans that have been modded up. So when I start my fists, I think the only thing I'm going to add is a Spartan and 2 rhinos. But I do like the purple and gold color scheme. So that's just my fists real quick. So I just wanted to get one whole look at the army from afar here. As for why I chose orange instead of yellow, is because there was a shit talker in the group. He says, oh, we'll see how much HD likes painting yellow if he's going to do Iron Warriors. So what I decided to do was paint orange, which is way harder to paint than yellow because I'm a boss like that. And he actually took the walk of shame and hasn't been showing up to 40K Crusade for quite a while. It looks like we scored a walk and a retirement. So Jordan fades back. Swish. That's the game. And yeah, working with the orange, a little bit tricky, but not that bad. I'll have to do a video on my recipe for orange and yellow because I did a lot of yellow on my Speed Freaks. But that's the armies, and I'm getting ready for 30K. I don't know if I'll do any 40K battle reports, but definitely there will be some 30K battle reports in the chain. Well, I'm looking at my army here in a photograph, what I used in my last game. And my thoughts here on what I'm going to do to separate the speed mob from this list. I think that these guys are in and these guys are back in. So the Death Dreads and the Killicans, they're back in. And then I think I'm going to run, definitely going to bring the Coptas because I need that shooting. And that kind of stuff really helps. But I've got to figure out maybe the extra battle wagon or something, because I just, the guy who's getting the biggest frowny face right now is Crumpy over here, because, you know, he got shot like 4 times, and he didn't save a single thing on a 6, and I think that's the thing that really neuters the Orks, is like, oh, you have a 6+ save. Well, you lost a game because you didn't, you know, the only reason you lost is because you didn't make enough 6+ saves. If you just rolled more 6s, you would win more games. So, there is that, you know. He's getting the frowny face. I think he's going to be benched for a little while. He did finally gain a level, but he'd been getting crumped every single game he'd been playing in since I've started to bring him back. I mean, last edition of the Crusade, not in 8th edition, but the last season, all I did was bring the Stompa. And there were some games I couldn't bring it because I couldn't afford to give my opponents that many CP for one game, so they'd have like, oh look, I have 14 command point rerolls, go bleep yourself, I win. I would literally, my buddy Anthony, he would literally like start with 14 command points, and by the end of his first turn, I'm sitting there in a crater and he's got like 1 CP left because he found a spot for all of them. Anyway, as you know, YouTube has many features you can use to interact with me. You can like the video, dislike the video, comment, or subscribe. But until I see you again, keep painting. You always got to keep painting, keep playing, And stay metal, my friends, and we'll see you in the next one.
More of an expert at exposing the moon. Get out of here, let's go! See if you can find the one crater.